You wake to iron on your tongue, stone pressing your shoulder blades, a ceiling that does not know your name. You are 18, old enough to be priced, old enough to be ignored. The cart smelled of smoke and rope. Hooves kept time, chains kept silence. At the market, they scrubbed you until the skin felt new and the self felt gone. They prodded your jaw, counted teeth, turned your wrist to check for work scars. Not a question about who taught you to read a little or which river you loved. Only weight, height, hands, a chalk mark on your arm, a nod, a bargain whispered behind a palm. You learned fast. Bargains make futures for some and files for others. The house you're sold to is quiet and polished. Courtyards hold trimmed laurel. Water runs in a thin line along a channel of stone, whispering the hours. You learn the map. Thresholds you may cross, thresholds you may clean, thresholds you must never touch with your shadow. Orders arrive like wind, brief everywhere. No face to blame. Morning work is grain and ash. Rinse, sweep, lift, fold. You memorize the weight of amphorae, the bite of lie, the angle that saves your back. You keep your breathing small. You keep your thoughts even smaller. Afternoons hum with errands, charcoal fetched, brass burnished, figs counted, a cloak aired until the dust sulks away. You are taught the house language, not Latin, etiquette. Yes, Domina, a moment, Lord. Forgive me. You bow with your eyes more than your spine. Laughter spills from the atrium at dusk. Cups knocking, dice, a stringed tune. You move through it like a shadow with hands. Wine sloshes. You catch it before it stains. A bracelet rolls. You toe stop it, kneel, present it palm up. They praise the bracelet for not chipping, not you for catching it. You share a mat with two others in a room that keeps no heat. Their names are Livia and Fenna. Livia counts breaths until sleep. Fenna counts the chips in the floor. You count days by laundry lines. Whites today, colors tomorrow. Cloaks on the third, wool on the fourth. It steadies you. You hide your real name like a coin under a loose tile. You mouth it when no one's looking, to keep the edges from rounding off. The tile is your secret chapel. Sometimes the city stirs beyond the walls. Vendors, wheels, a distant shout about gladiators or grain. You listen without turning your head. Looking outward gets you noticed. Being noticed gets you moved. Night comes on velvet feet. Keys pass between stewards. Hinges breathe. You make the lamps obedient. Flame the size of a fingernail, steady as a vow. A good flame does not flicker. A good servant does not either. When sleep finally takes you, it is not mercy, only pause. You dream of your village olive press, the warm crush of fruit, bees stuck drunk in sweetness. You wake before the gong and lie still, hands folded, waiting for the day to choose a shape. It always does. And you rise into it, one quiet motion at a time. You tell yourself this: you are more than the list of tasks. You are the person who completes them without breaking. You will make a room inside the room and live in it, untouched by inventory or ink. A stain on linen, a raised eyebrow from the matron. Your station changes with a gesture, from ovens to lacquered rooms, from simple chores to service that has no clock. Oil slicks your hair, the sash knots tighter. Sandals whisper over mosaic. Housewords grow sweeter and the rules grow harder. They say presentable, graceful, refined. They mean obedient, available, silent. Training begins in small things. How to kneel without letting the fabric crease. How to pour without a ripple. How to set a cup so softly no one hears the touch. The point is not the cup. The point is the quiet. Breathe like you are lifting weight, Livia tells you. In through the nose, hold, out through the teeth. You practice while polishing bronze. Each circle is a counted breath. Shine appears slowly, as earned things do. You learn distances, how near to stand so a command can reach your ear, how far to stand so a hand cannot reach your arm. You become a map, folded into a person. Evenings bring guests who wear conversation like armor. You are the stillness their words bounce off. They discuss harvests, roads, rumors from the frontier. You fix your gaze on the middle distance, present enough to respond, absent enough to survive. Sometimes a stringed instrument threads the air. Sometimes dice clatter like rain on tile. Sometimes the house is so quiet you can hear the fountain counting the courtyard dark. You stop asking why and start tracking what next. Your mind keeps inventory. 3 lamps, 2 pictures, 1 exit not watched. You learn who leaves rings on tables, whose temper flares like a summer storm, who forgets to close the door. Knowledge is a lockpick you dare not carry in your hand, only in your head. The matron praises you for being exact hands, exact steps, exact replies. You thank her with the right-sized smile, warm enough to keep peace, cool enough to cost nothing. The house has a way of shrinking time. Mornings knead into afternoons. Afternoons fold into dusk. You note the moon to prove you are moving. Full, gibbous, half a silver thread. On bad days, you imagine running. On better days, you plan it. Not roads, habits, the pattern of keys, the hour when the steward naps, where sandals are kept. You gather details the way others gather coins. There is talk you do not repeat. About who visits whom, about who owes whom, about who is being moved to a different household soon. You learn the art of carrying information without spilling it. One night, a cuff drops from a guest's wrist. It rolls, bright as a coin. You catch it mid-spin and place it on the table with 2 fingers. No sound. A nod rewards you. You pocket the nod like a ration. It will not feed you, but it may keep you from hunger. When you sleep, you lie on your side and listen to the house breathe. Pigeons on the roof, water in its trench. A slave somewhere singing under her breath. Small and steady, you add your quiet to hers. Together, the noises make something like courage. One morning, your palm finds a firm knock beneath your ribs. Not gas, not dream. A clear reply from inside. The midwife leans an ear to your belly, frowns, then nods. Schedules change before you stand up. Food shifts first, bread softer, salted fish rarer, honey gone. Valuable, the matron says, meaning useful. You chew as told. You rest when allowed. You rise when ordered. You take smaller steps now, and the steward scolds you for the pace. I'm carrying, you answer. He taps the staff once against the tile. Message received, complaint denied. You save breath for stairs. Livia folds a shawl, shows you how to wedge it at the small of your back. A trick from my mother, she says. And for a heartbeat, you both are elsewhere. Then a bell rings, and you are here again. At night, tap, tap. From within, you answer with your hand, not words, a promise made in skin. Rumors sift through the women's quarter like flour. Someone says, boys sometimes get named. Someone says, girls sometimes get moved. Someone else says nothing and stares at a crack in the wall, as if it might open. The midwife visits often, listens, weighs, teaches you to breathe into the ache instead of against it. Pain is a tide, she says. Let it pass through. Don't wrestle the sea. The day it begins, the sky is ordinary. No omen, no bird, just work left half done. Heat tightens around you, loosens, returns. Hands you trust, and ones you barely know, guide you to a mat. You grip wood, you count knots, you make your breath a rope. Time unthreads. The room narrows to a voice at your ear. In, hold, out. Cloth cools your forehead. Someone presses your palm. Someone steadies your shoulder. You are a bridge between 2 worlds, and the weight is crossing. Then a thin cry, near, and then far. The room exhales. A line gets written in a ledger you won't see. You reach. A hand meets yours and eases it down. Rest, they say, meaning don't ask. You lie still, watching dust turn in a shaft of light. It looks like snow you will never touch again. You memorize the pattern. then close your eyes before it can blur. Later, when the house returns to its usual hum, Livia brings water. She does not speak. She sits close enough that her shoulder warms the air. The two of you share quiet like bread. Night comes with a small ache in your chest that milk will answer. Another ache opens that nothing will. You fold both into your ribs and breathe around them. In, hold, outside. It will have to be enough. Morning brings weight to your chest and a bench in the nursery. Soap root foam, steam on glass, linen warmed by small bodies. You sit, you feed, you heal, you repeat. Time goes by, measured in swallows and sighs. The nurses work in rows, quiet as a library. Some hum, some pray. Some stare through stone and do not blink. Fever clips you once. Vinegar stands in for care. When you mend, they call it duty. When you tire, they call it discipline. Words work harder than medicine here. Sometimes a child with your eyes finds your arms. Sometimes a stranger does. You offer the same steadiness to both. You are a harbor. You do not choose the ships. When the shifts end, you rinse salt from your skin and tie a fresh binding. Livia sits beside you on the step, counting stars that city lamps refuse to hide. She teaches you a tune with no words. You add a second line so it won't die. Then, sun, open square, oil on skin so you shine. A clerk chalks your thigh. It smears. He writes darker. Questions circle you like goals. Teeth, age, wrists, strong back, quiet. Proven, someone asks, as if certainty were a virtue the body can sign. Hands glide, arms, shoulder, hip, evaluating grain like you are wood. A woman in silk prefers fuller. A man in rings prefers smaller. Another wants eyes that do not meet his. You lower yours and keep the sky in the corner where he won't see it. Numbers climb, stall, climb again. Wine changes hands. An oath is sworn. Someone laughs too loud. You are there and not there. Breath steady, jaw loose, mind folding every detail into a small, dry bundle you can carry. Smile, the slaver says. Not for joy, proof of teeth. You show them like a shield. It works. It never protects. A bid lands. Another answers. A final price settles, like dust after marches pass. Sold. The new master does not perform kindness. Good. Kindness is a cage with cushions. He signs. Coins clink. Your chain tugs. You walk the way Livia taught you. Steady, level, breathing. Left, right, left. Never rush, never lag. A river, not a cart. Streets open, then pinch. Market to alley, alley to court, court to door. You mark every turn, every shrine, every crack in the paving. Maps save lives. You are not rescued. You are not erased. But you are not empty. You carry what cannot be seized. The grain of the board you gripped when pain made a tunnel. The exact blue of that slice of sky above the auction. The tune with no words, the name you hid under a tile, and still mouth sometimes to keep it sharp. Stone will praise archers and emperors. Stone forgets easily. You will remember the women who kept each other breathing, who traded little mercies like contraband, an extra swallow of water, a folded cloth, a hand that did not flinch. You will remember and you will move, stab, stab, stab. History may not say it, so you will. You lived and you kept walking. Subscribe to Temple of Quiet for more history never thought in school.